Um, well, good week for us, I think, or not a great week, but I think finished off strong. We got better. Definitely have to improve before this week. I think these next few games are just a challenge for us in the fact that our last road trip, you can't look ahead. Playing against Washington State. Washington State's a very like, hard place to end on the trip. So I think for us finishing strong and then 2 home games, I can't believe we have 4 conference games left. So definitely I think we control our own destiny and need to finish off strong with momentum going into the Pac-12 tournament.
Open the floor to questions for Coach Barnes, PJ.
Yeah, let's just start it out with this. I know you don't look at the watch list or awards, but just a little while ago,
I actually just found out 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, so you're up for Coach of the Year yet again.
Yeah.
And how does that make you feel that, that nationally you are being recognized for what you're doing with this program?
It's a humbling honor for sure. I never seem to win it. I'm always on a list and never can win. So one day, maybe in 20 years, one day hopefully I can win it. But it's just great to be on a list with amazing coaches and people that are doing some tremendous things with their programs. So I'm just honored, obviously. But whenever you're on a list with like Tara or Gina, you're like, oh, or Don. You're like, okay, I'm not winning this, but good to be on the list, but I'm going to be winning this. But no, I think it's a good honor because I would have never thought 6 years ago that I would have been on the list every couple of years. That's good.
Kim and then Trey.
Washington, they played tough against Oregon. They've come close, but not. So what are you looking for from them?
They play basically 4 guards. Mulkey has size inside, but we're familiar with what they run. They run a lot of chin and Princeton, which is what UCLA, Stanford, a lot of teams we've faced this year run. So I think our matchups will be a little tough because four guards. And, Van Dyke's playing the 4, but she's basically like a 3-4. So I expect us to play well. But to me, honestly, the scariest teams to play are teams like Washington. There's nothing to lose. They're hungry for a win. And, we've learned our lesson with Cal a couple of years ago, so do not want to repeat that. So I think for us, it's being focused. You treat everybody with respect, and we know we can get beat by Washington. So we have to go in there and play well. And also we have to play well to get better, to prepare for the 3 games after that in the tournament. So it's an important weekend for us. I think these 2 weeks are important to see where we're kind of at. We got exploited last Friday. And so I think that we have to get better, and there's some things that we need to work on in the next 2 weeks. So this 2 weeks, you should see improvement in a few areas. So that's what we're working on daily.
I know in the tournament you're going to be facing different teams instead of like the same team twice, but facing ASU and playing in those physical games, how does that prepare you for not only the Pac-12 tournament but the NCAA tournament?
It prepares us a lot because we hadn't seen ASU. Remember they were off for a long time. So going there and starting off slow and getting punched in the face and being on our heels, we saw what it could be like in the tournament. And I think, and the Pac-12 tournament and the NCAA tournament. And I think that for us, you have to treat every game the same, and you have to play for 40 minutes. And I think we learned our lesson from Friday. We got beat, and they outplayed us in a lot of different areas. I thought we responded better on Sunday, but still didn't play the game we needed to. But so there are some areas that we have to improve on. We have to start games strong, intense, with the same fight that we used to come back. So when we're in these 14, 19-point deficits, we're coming back and fighting, but we need to have that same sense of urgency at the start of games. So a learning lesson was Friday, like we can't just show up and think we're going to win. That's not how it works.
Why do you think that intensity wasn't there at the start of the game?
I think it was nerves, and I think this tightness, and I think the game was really magnified. It wasn't a big game. It's a rival game, but I think the players, they played like it was a really big game. And usually we're really confident and loose, and I felt like we were really tight. Even in the third quarter of that game, we were really tight. I think just a lot of pressure because it's a rival, and some people had never been in that situation. So, but the things that we can control is our defense. Our defense was not good. Our rebounding was not good. So if you don't do those things, you will get punched, and you will get killed. And they kicked our butt. So you have to learn from that. I thought we responded and we cleaned up some areas. And to me, if you can change those things in a day, that's a focus. Because there's no way we can control those things on a Sunday, but got killed in the same areas on a Friday. That means that we weren't focused on the Friday to do those things. And I think, and also credit to ASU, they played well, and Jade Lavelle really killed us. We could not guard her. But then I thought we guarded her really well on Sunday. So I think just moving forward, your approach to games, your focus during games from the get-go is extremely important. As we play, every team in the Pac-12 is good, and every team can get a win. And you see every year what happens at the end of the year. Cal always upsets someone, or Washington will upset someone. We saw it in the Pac-12 tournament. I think that was last year or the year before. It happens, so you have to be ready for every single game.
Jason?
Yeah, hi, Coach. I'm doing a story on Sam for
Okay.
our digital special. What did it mean to the program to have her come back?
It meant everything. Sam is just so valuable in so many ways. I'm sure, as you guys know, off the court, she's phenomenal. She's a great representative of the program. She's a leader. She's a captain. And I think this year what you see is her growth on the court. She's scoring a lot more points. She's more aggressive. She's more vocal. So it's been great to watch the growth. And I'm sure you guys have seen the growth. She's really quiet her first year playing in the post. And she's evolved, and now she's one of the best three-point shooters in the league and country. So I think on the court, with confidence and everything, she's evolved. Off the court, she continues to grow. She's up for the senior class award. So there's just so many things that she does I can't even explain. I mean, I could write a book about her. But if your team needs to know what to wear, where to go, what time to be something, she's constantly reinforcing that. If there's a heated moment in practice where they have to come together, she's the moderator. She's calming people with a sense of confidence, and you listen when she talks. The team respects her. The coaches respect her because I know what I'm going to get from her every day on and off the court, and she's consistent, and most players aren't consistent in what they do and what they give. And she's just a great leader, so there's nothing that she can't do. And I think that, I wish I could have her for another COVID year or two. I don't wish COVID would continue, but I wish, like, in some way she could get another COVID year. I would keep her for my career. I really would. If I could keep her every single year, I'd keep her.
What do you know about her clothing line that she started?
A lot. So it's with a friend of mine. Danielle's a former player from here, so, and she's like a designer, and she clothes a lot of like NBA guys and stuff. Actually, I need her to help me out. But yeah, it's great. She's making like a lot of money, and I don't know how much, but it's a lot. Like tons of people are buying it, so it's doing well. And I think there's a couple other things in the works that are going to come out that she's also going to have. It's just not out yet.
Were you among the people who wanted her to shoot more when she said everybody wants me to shoot more?
Yeah, I've been saying that since year one. Like, I want her to be aggressive. Our team is better when Sam is better. She spreads the floor, and she's so smart. And she's not going to take bad shots. She's not going to take contested shots with two people. That's just not her. So when she's aggressive and playing the way she should, we win more, and we'll be more successful. So, yeah, I totally want her to do that. I mean, overall, I think she's at 9 points a game. She could be at 12 points a game. Yeah, and for sure. And I mean, in her stats, if you look at her in conference, she's shooting 42% from the two, and she's shooting 49% from three. So it's like, yes, you need to shoot a lot more if you're shooting 49%. I mean, that's number one on the team. And it's not even, like, she can shoot 5 more a game. So at 49%, I want her to shoot even more.
And the last question, it's a big transition for any student athlete who's been here for so long, then go on to the next stage of life. Are you involved in that with her? And
Yeah.
what do you know about her future plans, and are you coaching her
Well,
on that?
yeah, we talked briefly about it just because we're so focused on now instead of looking ahead. I think if you do that with a player, it's very stressful. Because, like I was at that point where it's like you don't know what to do. It's scary. So I think at this point of the year, players really get stressed out about it. So not talking about it a whole lot. It's just living in the moment, doing her best. Everything else will take care of itself. She's smart. She's a good player. I think she can do whatever she wants to do. She'll leave here with a master's degree. So I think for her, she has to decide what she wants to do. I think she can go play pro. Maybe WNBA, maybe overseas, but she can do that and travel the world a little bit, make money doing it. Now she has a boyfriend, so I don't know if she'd want to go. Who knows? Or she can get a job, and there's a lot of people here in Tucson, Nike. She had a job with Nike, so if she wanted to revisit Nike, she can go to Nike. The sky's the limit for her, so I think she has potential to be great. Maybe she'll come back here and want to get into coaching. There's a lot of things that she can do, but I'm the type, it's like you can only play for this long. You can go back to school whenever you want. I can go back tomorrow if I wanted to. So I think that you play as long as you can. She's smart. She's a good shooter. She can play overseas. I think you go play overseas, you travel the world, and then it's just amazing. And then you come back and you can do the other stuff. You can go to Nike. You can go get a doctorate. You can do other things. So I think she can do whatever she wants. And I think she's going to have a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
A lot has happened for you and the team in the last 12 months. Obviously,
Yeah.
you go on the run. Baylor makes
Yeah.
a push to bring you in. You end up staying. You follow that up with a great regular season so far to this point. Looking back at around this time last year, how would you describe the feeling for yourself and the team? How is it different now compared to 12 months ago with the extra attention, everything that's happened?
Yeah, I think, gosh, I'm trying to remember. It's, it feels like it's been 2 years. That last year run really feels to me like it's been years. Last year at this time, actually, it wasn't a great moment. We weren't playing great basketball. If you would ask me at this time last year if we would go to the Final Four, I would have said, we're lucky to win a game in a tournament. I wouldn't have said that, but that's what I would have been thinking. We were kind of at this rough patch. So I think we didn't play well. We played okay going into the Pac-12 tournament, and then we did not play well against UCLA, and that was kind of a pivotal point for the program. We kind of had a, come to Jesus moment, and we just put a lot of stuff out and worked out a lot of things. And then after that, we really became cohesive again, and we completely changed. And that was when we made our run. So at this point last year, I wouldn't have thought in a million years we would have gone to the Final Four. In the Pac-12 tournament last year, I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought we're going to struggle in the NCAA tournament because we were having some moments. There was a difficult moment, with fans and just team stuff, and we weren't playing together. I think everybody was thinking, had pressure to go pro, and I think there was a lot of pressure on Aerie from everybody outside, pressure on our team because expectations were high, and we had never done that. This is new territory for us even now. We haven't done this for 10 years. This is really the first year where we have actually the X on our back, because last year we just got it. And it was like, should they be there, shouldn't they? This year we have it from last year, but we've earned it, and no one thought we'd be here. So we still don't really know how to handle it. I think what's changed is that we're going to the Final Four, playing in a championship. What's changed is the momentum around the program, the excitement around the program. Nothing's changed for me. It's still the same. I knew that there was going to be question because we lost Trinity, who was one of our best post defenders, and then we lost Aerie, who was an All-American, one of the best guards in the country. So I knew the question was going to be, how do you fill their shoes? And I didn't know. I didn't know how we were going to react. I didn't know what we were going to be like this year. And I think that coming into this year, being chosen to finish 5th in the Pac-12, which we've finished every year above what we've been chosen. But I was surprised we were chosen to finish 5th. But then I wasn't surprised on the other hand because we lost 52% of our scoring. So, and then I think that we kind of surprised ourselves playing as a good team. We didn't have an all-star. So I think to be where we are today, do I think we're a team at this point that can win a national championship? I don't know if we're there yet. I think that would be hard. But I think that we're capable of catching momentum and like everything clicking. Like last year, we're capable of that. And then when you go that far, then you're capable of anything. We were one basket away. But I think that there are some things we need to work on and some areas we have to get better in to be able to beat the Stanfords, the UConns, the South Carolinas.
Would you say that the X on your back this year, how have you played compared to that? Because you have that X on your back, but you also weren't picked to finish that high in the conference. So is the pressure this year similar, more than last year, or are you just handling it better as a team?
I think that in the beginning there was no pressure because we weren't even ranked and chosen 5th in the Pac-12. I think that when there started to be a little bit more pressure, which there shouldn't even be, is when you get like the top 10 rankings when you're number 6. When you're number 6, I think it's hard not to be like, oh, because everybody's that's playing it's unranked. It's like, let's be number 6. So they're playing with a lot more like grit. They're playing with more enthusiasm. They're bringing their A games. I mean, ASU played phenomenal. They shot like 83% from the 3. So I think that we don't really know how to handle that yet. I think we're learning. And some of the learning lessons were at Oregon, losing that 19-point lead or 17-point lead. And then, USC, even without 2 starters, these were bad losses for us. So the ASU and USC loss are tough. I'm at Oregon. It's a hard place to play. And at Stanford, a hard place to play. But I think we're learning that we have to bring it with that urgency that we have when we're down 15. So I don't feel like there's pressure now. No one's going to sit here in America and think, oh, Arizona should go to the championship game. I don't think we're there yet. I think that we have a good system, and I think we're playing well as a team, and I think we surprised people from where we're at. I think no one in the world would have thought we would be a top 10 team. So I think that we're learning and we're getting better. And I'm like my goal is for us to catch the momentum at the right time and improve in the next 3 weeks so we get hot again. And that's what we hope to do.
Well, to follow up on that for our special, you said, well, nothing's really changed for you, but on the outside it has. You're much more well-known.
Yeah.
A year ago, you weren't a USA coach.
Yeah.
You weren't being talked about on Good Morning America, right? And now you've got all these great players lined up for a couple of years, and everybody in the country would love to have you as their coach. How does that make you feel, or would you even think about it, that you're now nationally known in the sports world, where you weren't really nationally known sports figure here?
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't really feel like that. I'm like that. I don't feel that. I do feel okay. It was cool being on Good Morning America, but I was also a mom that was like pumping at the Final Four. So I think there was reasons. I think it's really cool to be a voice for moms and help women. I think that's an honor, and I love being a mom. I love what I'm doing. It's very hard. It's like I understand why women can't do it, because there are days when I don't feel like I can. So I think that I understand that, and I think it gives women hope, and I'm so happy for that. I feel like we got a lot of momentum. I think our program was recognized. I think I was, which is amazing. But I think that, I don't really think about it, to be honest. I forget about it until like I do something stupid on Twitter, like talk about the nail shop or something. Then it's like I get all the response, and I'm like, oh, I take it out. I forget that stuff. I forget that so many people are watching, and I think that, being a role model, it's an honor. It's not a burden, and I think that you have to take that with pride, and I'm just happy our team's able to do it again, because it's not me, it's the players. So for me, all the accolades and stuff, I don't think about it a whole lot. I mean, I think I was more popular in Tucson from being the rodeo marshal than winning games. I literally got more texts about the rodeo marshal, so I was like, wow. But it's just an honor. I just do what I do, though. I don't really, I try not to like get on Twitter and watch all that, because you get angry. Because it's like, if you try to please everybody, and like, there's like fan websites and boards and Twitter, and after that Oregon game, I was upset about the loss and all the stuff on Twitter. If you look at that stuff and you spend energy on it, it's upsetting, because someone isn't happy about every decision you make. Like, if I decided for the players to wear the gray uniforms. Some people loved it, a lot of people hate it. So like, you get 50 emails that they loved it, and you get 50 that they hated it. So it's like, but every decision has that, and people are very critical, and everybody's a great coach from their living room couch. And so I try not to look at that stuff, and sometimes it's hard. And I had to tell the players the other day, don't look at those message boards, don't go into them, don't respond, because like, what are you responding for? But that's hard. It's hard. So I think when I see that stuff, like, I realize, wow, okay, so many people are watching. Or, one thing I noticed after the tournament, like, I got like a lot more followers on Twitter. But I don't post to get followers. I post like stuff. The players always talk about what I post. I post stuff I want to post. So I think it's an honor being recognized, and I'm more happy though that our team is able to do something. So like, for me, I would rather not have that and have like a top team that makes it far in the tournament. So that's kind of what I'm more happy of, the proof of the work versus the extra stuff, I guess.
You want to coach U.S. basketball again?
Yeah, and it's funny. So people don't know this, but for USA Basketball, I was called last November before the tournament. So I think people thought we just, I guess, it just happened to work out. We went to the championship game, but I committed to that at the beginning of the season. And no one knew that, because it wasn't released. And so it had to go through all these committees, and so I committed that. But totally, like, it's an honor, USA Basketball. I would love to. I want to follow in Don's footsteps. I definitely want to coach USA Basketball. It was an amazing experience.
PJ?
So how do you think that the experience last year for Maddie has really helped her this season?
The experience for Maddie has tremendously helped her. I think being able to watch a pro like Ari work and like go number 3 in the draft, being able to experience what the tournament's like she didn't come in here with the expectation to play. She was just learning everything. She knew that. But I think that experience was extremely valuable, because she's not like a freshman this year. It's more like she's a sophomore, and she's still here 4 more years. So I think it was the best decision she made. I think she got better. She got to feel what that's like. And we may never go to the championship game again. It's very hard to get there. It's like most people go there once, most people don't even go there once in their lifetime. The percentage is so small. So for her to experience that and be hungry and see what leadership's like, all those things, it's extremely valuable. It was the best thing that she ever did, and the best thing that happened, Because remember, it kind of happened by chance. Do you know what happened? Yeah, so that was just coincidental, and she just came in like 3 days. And I'm also fortunate her parents let her do that, because I think it was the best thing for her, and she's going to be great. She's just getting better and better. I love her.
Troy?
What are the challenges of playing not on the Washington, but then traveling to Washington State and making that trip?
It's a hard road trip. It's not as hard as the mountains. Like the Utah, Colorado is the hardest trip. If you ask any team in the Pac-12, if it's on your schedule, you don't go there, you're like, yes. It's just hard to play the altitude, and you try not to make that a mental thing, but it's like, then they run. They're both really good. They're great offensive teams. Colorado's a great defensive team, so it's just a hard trip. But Washington Pullman's hard. It's harder on the. It's a weird trip. It's cold there for us. We're not used to that. It's usually snowing. It's a hard trip, but it's manageable. We got upset there last year. It was a very close game this year. They're a good team. I think they're a lot better than their record. They can score really well. Really hard to guard with a lot of shooters. So it's just a tough trip. And I said, before the first trip against Washington, the first game against Washington, it's hard. They're hungry. They're hungry for a win. They want to win, and you can play really loose in that situation. I've been there. I was there my second year, and getting an upset at the end of the season, every year someone does that at the end of the season. You'll see in the next 2 weeks there will be like 2 upsets, I'm telling you. So we don't want that to be Arizona. So we need to go there and take care of business. And for me, I love going there because I have so many friends there, administration there. I was there for a long time, so like a lot of people I really love are still there. So for me, it's an amazing trip, and I'll be able to see a lot of people, so I'm always pumped to play there.
Any more questions for Coach Barnes, PJ?
Yeah, so obviously Arizona's a defense-first team, and that's your system. But it seems like fans and maybe national media, people don't always see what that really looks like. So for example, and it's always, and maybe because we're all offensive minded, right? So it's splashy. Somebody gets 45 points, everybody pays attention.
Yeah, for sure.
So like last week, there was a game when, Lauren got pulled down a couple really key defensive rebounds.
Yeah.
She ended up getting the ball, she stole the ball, a couple moments like that. The game against Oregon State where, Shayna gets the game winner, and you guys celebrated that, but 6 seconds left and Sam gets a big tip that seals the deal.
Yeah.
And people seem to forget about that. And then there's other things. What do you sort of say to those people that don't quite realize how important your defense really is and what you guys are really doing to then win these games?
Yeah, so for me, that's a lot of stuff I had to talk about last year, because everybody talked about our offense, but we didn't have the personnel to play different. So we had the personnel. Ari was a phenomenal defender, full court, like 40 minutes, in your grill. So I didn't really care, because I just felt like I didn't have to explain that. Like, if you recognize that, you don't. But, when people started recognizing it, we went to the championship game. So no, we had always had that the whole year, and no one even knew anything about Arizona. And then in the Final Four, everybody in the country was saying, they have the best defense in the country. Look at their defense. So for me, I knew that the whole time. And I was constantly having to always talk about, your offense. That's why I just always dismissed it. And I said, we don't have that team. I'm not going to sit there and work on offense when we're not a good offensive team, but we're a good defensive team that creates offense. So I didn't care. This year I don't care. And it's funny because this year we're better in every single offensive category. And overall, it shows on paper we're better in a lot of defensive categories. And I don't think we're there yet. So I look at the stats. I look at what I see as a coach. There are some areas we have to get better in. But we'll play the defense like we did last year in the tournament. And we're on the way to that. I think some of that's a mentality. And, missing like Ari and Trinity were 2 players that really had that defensive mentality. And I think now we have a lineup that we bring shooters in, and Ari would always joke with me and say, "You didn't have that shooters when I was here," but we are able to. We're better in every offensive category. I mean, we're top in the Pac-12 in field goal percentage, in 3-point percentage. Like, we were always bottom. An area that we're not good at offensive rebounding, but I don't value that. We don't work on it, and it's not something I care about. I care about transition defense, and that's an area we have to get better in. So for me, it helps us win games. I don't need to explain it, but it's why where we are where we are. It's not because we're scoring 90 points a game, But because we're able to defend most of the time, not all the time, and we're able to score when we need to. But still offensively, I mean, we're at like 70 points a game in conference, 68. I mean, last year we weren't close to that. So I think we're better overall as a team, more balanced. But we miss some stuff we had last year as far as mentality and toughness. And, Trinity and Aria were dogs. And they were really, and I think we missed that in two people. We still have that in other players right now, but it just looks a little different. And you think about Aria and Trinity, they're both more experienced than all the players we have now, except for Sam. So I think that we're teaching, because Shayna can be the same way. She's getting better, but she can be the same way because she has the athleticism, she has the quickness, and she can. So you'll see her get better and better, and you'll see next year even better. So I think that there's just some areas we have to get better in. But yeah, we are a defensive team, and we take pride in that. I think we play more like an SEC team as far as defensively. But now we can shoot it and score. So I think that's an area that we've improved in for sure.
Any more questions for Coach?
Just a quick update on Araya.
Yeah, so Raya, she's back in practice. She's back. I don't know exactly how many minutes this week, but we're just kind of going day by day, just working her back in. So she's back and fine. Well, she was having migraines, but people don't know. I had migraines for 20 years. Before you have medication and diagnostics, they put you down. They come in, they're 3-day cycles. So she didn't have a migraine for 7 days. She had that and came back to practice, and you're finding meds that work, so she'll be okay. But I'm just glad, because having migraines, you need the right medication, because what it teaches you is you learn what the trigger points are. So I learned after 10 years, and I didn't get migraines until I was an adult in the pros. And then when I learned about them, you would know you're starting to get a migraine, you take a pill. And then you don't get it, because once you get it, it's really hard to break a cycle. So and it's funny, because after I got pregnant, I didn't get migraines anymore. But I really got them every week for years. So I know so I'm very sensitive to them, because I know. So for me, I didn't want to rush her. But yeah, she's back. So we're happy, because we can use her.
Awesome, thank you very much,
Cool,
Coach.
thanks, guys.
All right, before we get started, if you haven't voted for Sam Thomas today for Senior Class Award, make sure you do that, and do it a couple of times too. So that being said, we'll go ahead and we'll get started with some questions for Sam. PJ?
Yeah, Sam, what have you seen out of Maddie this year?
I think just her confidence continue to grow. We obviously know she's a great shooter. She's always in the gym getting extra shots, but I think her defense was kind of her weakest point in her game. And so over the years, after practice, during our skill workouts, she's always working out with Savo, trying to work on her defense, playing our practice players one-on-one, because they're obviously guys are going to be a lot faster than the women. So just trying to work on her defense as much as possible, and I think she's been doing a great job. So that's showing to the coaches, which is why she's getting more minutes now. And then obviously last game against ASU, she was able to show all the work that she's been putting. I think her defense has really stepped up, especially with all those charges.
Sam, I'm doing a story on you for our digital special. When did you decide to come back and I know you told everybody on the date of the celebration. When did you decide, and what made you want to come back?
I kind of decided as soon as the NCAA told everyone that they could have an extra year. I just didn't want to announce it or make it officially yet, just in case something happened or a great job opportunity came up that I couldn't resist. So I kind of just waited a little bit, talked with Adia obviously about, recruits coming in, what next year's looking like, just having logistical talks with her, and obviously she was happy to have me back. So I think I always knew, and then obviously at the parade that we came, that's when I told everyone to come back. But I think just coming back, I wanted to, because after the great year we had last year, I wanted to feel that again, whether it's winning or just making it to the tournament. I just want to experience that again. And then just playing with a new group of girls and the girls that I've been playing with for so long. I love it here. I love Tucson. I love the fans. So I just wanted to play on this court a couple more times.
But you did have a job offer reportedly for Nike. Is that a standing one, or did you turn that down? And what went through your mind then?
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to turn that job down. It wasn't a holding position. I had a long talk with my manager about it, And I still have some connections at Nike, so they're always, asking me how the season's going, checking in on me, saying that I'm welcome to come back there whenever I want. There's not like a specific job offer, but they're just, being nice and letting me know that they enjoyed working with me and that they're in my corner for recommendations or anything. So very supportive, and it really helped make my decision of knowing that I can stay in college and still have, connections out there in the job force.
How's your clothing line going?
It's going really well. I'm actually very excited, very happy that I got to do it. We just released a new Valentine's Day shirt. We're donating some of the proceeds to the Boys and Girls Club of Tucson just because I feel like it's my time to give back. And now that I have a little bit more money to give back to, I feel like it's a perfect opportunity with the clothing line. And then seeing all the fans wearing my clothes at our games, it's just surreal.
How would you describe the clothes? Are they your personality, or are they did you see something that wasn't available, or is describe the clothing line for me?
Yeah, so I'm working with Danielle, former Arizona women's basketball player, and she kind of just asked me what did I want my logo to be, did I want my whole name, Samantha, Sam, my number, all of that. And I kind of told her that I wanted it to be simple, but where you look at it and you can tell it's my clothing line, not anything too crazy. So, we had the ST, it kind of looks like a little basketball court because, had to add the basketball in there. And then just my name on the bottom, nice and simple. So she sent me a couple of looks, and then I told her what I wanted. We talked about sizing of the logo, where we wanted it and everything. So it was just really nice to work with her, and I got to have input on what I wanted.
Are you able to say anything about how sales are going?
Yeah.
Not that much, but are you off to a good start?
Yes, definitely off to a good start. A lot of people are buying them, coaches, athletes here, obviously all the fans. So a lot more than I expected. So I'm very happy. And then, of course, we're going to release more once we hit March Madness. So everyone will be getting the shorts. We're going to release the shorts that everyone's been asking for, but it's been hard to find those. So there's going to be a limited edition.
What made you finally decide to shoot more?
I think just it's my last year. I've been just trying to do as much as I can for the team, and I think after the Utah game, my confidence just went up, and so I just kind of had that shooter's mentality, and I just every time I was open, I said, "You're a shooter. It's not going to go in unless you shoot the ball." So I just took a chance on myself and just kept trying to shoot the ball.
You had just talked about how you're such a terrific ambassador for the program and a leader and somebody that people look up to in practice and representative of what you think a terrific student athlete should be. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel really good. I've been with Adia for obviously 5 years now. Took a chance on her with the program to rebuild. So just to see the progress that we've all made, and then myself as a person on and off the court, I never would imagine to get all these awards, all this recognition, and make it to the national championship, be with Adia for so long. I never thought I'd be in college for 5 years. So just to have all of this, I'm just trying to live up every moment.
We still have a lot of the book of this season to write, but overall, I mean, from where this program was during your first year to maybe snuck up on a few people last year to now looks to be a perennial power. Your thoughts on where this program has come from where you were here 5 years ago to where it is now?
Yeah, I'm just super proud of the progress. I think last year was a great run for us, but now this year we're focused on being consistent. We want to be, that top team from years and years to come. So just, getting the right recruits, having that standard, like UConn and the South Carolinas, we're a team that is going to be hard to beat, especially at home here in McHale.
One more. How did you know this team was going to be good this year? Because I think a lot of people thought, Ari's leaving, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, another couple of steps forward, but it really hasn't been a step back. I mean, you've been a top 10 team for much of the year. How did you know that this was going to be a good team again this year?
I think because I've been in practice with all these girls for the past couple years. I see the recruits that we're getting. I see what everyone can do in practice. People might not always get the opportunity because we had a third round or third pick in the draft. So, people are not going to get as much opportunities, but once Ari left, I knew that everyone knew that they had to step up and just, bring in transfers, recruits, everyone else that was already here stepping up. I wasn't too concerned about where we were going to be this year.
Yeah, so your coach was nominated for Coach of the Year for the 3rd consecutive year. For you, what do you see in Adia, and why do you think that she should be Coach of the Year?
Obviously, I'm a little biased, but I think she's an awesome coach. Not only just basketball skills, but she's also a mother. She cares about us as players. She worries about us off the court, make sure we're okay. Just checking in on us, just as a normal like mom would. So it's really nice to have that. And then obviously just what she's been able to do with this program in such a short amount of time. I mean, she took this place from 6 wins to, now making it to the national championship. And she'll say like, oh, it's the players, like they help. But I mean, we have to come here, and we come here because of her. So it really is a lot owed to her. So I hope she does get it.
Adia talked a little bit about your potential as a pro. I mean, how much is that, do you want to do that? I know you've always kind of been close to your family. You're still relatively geographically close. So how much would you want to say go to Europe if it's not in the W?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely keeping my options open. Haven't really thought a lot about it just because I want to, soak in all the moments that I have here. But definitely whatever opportunities are presented, whether it's WNBA or overseas, I definitely would love to play after college. So whichever happens. I talk to Dominique a lot. So just getting her perspective on what it's like preparing myself, packing a suitcase full of snacks. So when I go over there, possibly I have stuff that I know. So yeah, I definitely want to play at the next level, whichever that is.
You may have mentioned this before, but have you noticed a big difference or any difference how teams are playing you this season compared to last season after that Final Four run and what that is like in games?
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of teams are doing is they're not setting ball screens anymore. They know how aggressive our defense is. Every time there's a ball screen, we're trapping them, trying to get those turnovers. So I think a lot of teams aren't trying to risk that. So they're more of, doing motion type sets, dribble drive, passing to the post, chin action, splitting off of them. They're trying to avoid those ball screens because that is, I believe, our strongest set on defense. So definitely that. And then just the way they're guarding us. I think a lot of people are doing more scout reads, whether they're going under the screens, over the screens, but we've been able to do a really good job of, adjusting.
Any more questions for Sam? Thank you, Sam. Again, seniorclassaward.com. That's where you can vote for Sam. Lindsay Bull is currently winning, and I have that.